Nestled within the arid landscapes of southern Israel lies the Timna Valley, a region renowned today for its striking sandstone glyphs. Over 3,000 years ago, however, this very place served as a vast network of copper mines. Recently, the Timna mines have captured attention, as they are believed by some to conceal the fabled lost treasure of the biblical King Solomon. Join us on a journey to unveil the mysteries surrounding this legendary treasure. Exploring King Solomon. In the Old Testament of the Bible, King Solomon emerges as a figure of noble and profound wisdom, ruling over Israel during the 10th century BC. Historians affirm the historical existence of Solomon, a ruler who is credited with expanding the boundaries of ancient Israel significantly, from the Euphrates River in the north to the River of Egypt in the south. Moreover, the Bible attributes immense wealth to Solomon, who embarked on the construction of a grand temple in Jerusalem. Solomon's magnificent temple. Solomon's temple was not just a place of worship, it was a testament to his dedication. The king spared no expense, importing the finest materials to construct the temple. According to the Bible, Solomon's temple was built from the best limestone and cedar wood. Inside, the walls were overlaid with pure gold. And Solomon adorned the temple with objects made out of copper, which was also a precious metal at the time. King Solomon ruled Israel for 40 years before dying in 931 BC. Upon his death, Solomon reportedly left behind an enormous amount of gold and other riches in his magnificent temple. But then, in 586 BC, the Babylonians invaded Jerusalem and sacked Solomon's temple, evidence of the temple's existence. While direct evidence of the original shrine is scarce, the Telerad Ostraka 18, or the House of Yahweh Ostrakon, is a notable exception, making reference to the Jerusalem temple. Limited archaeological excavations have been conducted in the area. However, mainstream historical consensus acknowledges the existence of the shrine. In the late 10th century BCE, a central Jerusalem shrine existed and was subsequently sacked in the 6th century BCE after failed insurrections against Babylon. This event led to the destruction of the city and its surrounding areas. The Yahweh shrine, situated atop Mount Zion, was also a casualty. Strong archaeological evidence supports the historical authenticity of these events. References to the shrine's looting can be found in 2 Kings 25 by 1-17 and 2 Chronicles 36 by 18, highlighting the systematic plundering of precious metals and objects. Notably, the Babylonian records make no mention of this final siege and assault. However, some of the looted gold and silver objects were later returned by the Persian king Cyrus as part of the resettlement of Judea. The Ark of the Covenant's fate remains a mystery, with only a passing reference in the Hebrew Bible and the prophet Jeremiah. Reasons for destruction. There were at least 2 reasons to destroy the Ark of the Covenant. First, a wooden box papered over with gold containing broken stones, a stick, and a pot would not have impressed the worshippers of Marduk or Nabu with their giant city of Babylon. It is suspected that they might have just dumped that stuff out as they were torching the place and happily melted down the Ark of the Covenant. Secondly, as far as a temple and the box, the Ark of the Covenant represented the power of the Judahite God. Razing it all to the ground would have been the rational thing to do while basically putting down a series of vassal insurrections. It clearly sends the message that you and your gods are powerless. When the Temple of Solomon was destroyed in 586 BC, all the temple treasures were lost to history. And the ancient legend says that Solomon's treasures were taken out of Jerusalem and buried. There are those who believe that the treasures are, to this day, still hidden. Treaties on the vessel. The Masaket Kalim, a treasure trove of ancient wisdom, holds the key to the whereabouts of Solomon's sacred vessels and artifacts. This legendary text exists in two distinct recensions, one emerging as late as the 17th century in printed form, and the other inscribed on Margul plaques. But the intrigue doesn't end there. The entire Book of Ezekiel, etched onto marble plaques, is believed to have resided in the tomb shrine of the prophet Ezekiel in Kefil, Iraq. What's truly captivating is the 17th century version's claim to be rooted in far older manuscripts, hinting at a legacy spanning centuries. Astonishingly, this treasure trove of 68 plaques was clandestinely transported from Iraq to Beirut and later smuggled into Israel during the 1950s. These relics now rest within the hallowed halls of the Yad Savi Institute in Jerusalem. The age of these plaques, according to the British Museum, is a matter of debate, spanning a potential range from 300 to 2,000 years. Some experts even posit a script dating back to the 7th or 8th century CE, a revelation that aligns with internal evidence from the text. The legendary narrative adds further allure as it narrates how angels, including Shamshiel and Sariel, concealed Solomon's temple treasures in various locales, primarily in Jerusalem and Babylon. These enigmatic locations were etched onto a bronze tablet, invoking the mystique of a treasure hunt that transcends millennia. Treasures beyond imagination. The treasure described in the ancient tablet is a testament to the grandeur of legends, overflowing with extravagant details. It exaggerates not just in scale, but in sheer number, claiming tens of thousands of vestments and lampstands, evoking the image of a treasury that knows no bounds. Yet what truly stirs the imagination is the origin of these treasures, which veers into the realm of the extraordinary. Some are said to have been fashioned from the very gold discovered in the Garden of Eden, a place of mythical significance. Others, it claims, were hewn from the sacred Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses himself, adding an ethereal aura to their existence. And then there are the gems, purportedly infused into musical instruments, that were brought to Solomon by 3 different types of demons, each with their own enigmatic stories. What's remarkable is that this text appears to be a patchwork quilt of legends, woven together somewhat haphazardly. Among these, silver horns surface in different locations, making it clear that the lore transcends time and place, suggesting a heritage that extends beyond the tablet's inscription. The Hebrew Bible serves as the primary source for cataloging these extraordinary items, reinforcing their historical and cultural significance. The narrative even introduces the notion of magical trees, composed of the rarest of elements, blood-red Parvan gold, capable of bearing fruit of pure gold. These items exude an air of captivating mystique, making the quest for their hidden locations an adventure of epic proportions. But perhaps the most compelling aspect of this treasure trove is the implicit promise that none of these treasures will be unearthed until the moment of divine revelation during the final messianic redemption. Estimated location of the treasure. For centuries, the legend of King Solomon's lost treasure has been a source of fascination and mystery. In 1885, the story was exposed to a wider audience when author H.R. Haggard wrote his famous novel, King Solomon's Mines, which speculated that Solomon's treasures were hidden deep in an underground mine shaft. But if there is some truth to this legend, then where is King Solomon's treasure buried? For some, the most likely location is the Timna Mines. The Timna Valley is located not more than 150 miles from Jerusalem. So we're talking about close proximity. At Timna, there are 10,000 mine shafts, maybe more. And so it's easy for people to kind of say, there must be a connection. Discoveries by researchers. Over the past few decades, numerous researchers have sought to validate the theory that the Timna Mines house King Solomon's lost treasures. One of the initial pieces of evidence in support of this theory came from archaeologist Nelson Glueck, who conducted excavations at Timna in the 1930s. Glueck's findings included pottery dating back to the 9th and 10th centuries BC, precisely during Solomon's reign. For Glueck, this discovery constituted compelling evidence of Solomon's mines. Now, do you think that people will finally get to see those golds and silvers, or just get a glimpse of that? That's all for today. Do share your thoughts on this intriguing topic in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for future updates. Thank you for watching.